Imagine for a moment you're standing in a vast open field, a field that stretches endlessly in every direction. You feel safe here. The air is fresh, calm, and your feet are grounded in the earth beneath you. Now I want you to think back to any challenge you've faced. Whether it was a moment when someone hurt your ego, teased you, bullied you, or tried to embarrass you. Take a moment and notice you're still standing here. You're still you. No matter what they did, no matter how much they tried, you remain whole, resilient, powerful. And isn't it incredible that no matter what has happened in the past, you've always found a way to recover. Not just survive, but recover stronger than before. Can you see that? All those experiences, no matter how difficult, they've built you up, strengthened you. Can you sense that deep within yourself? That realization that no matter what happens, you've an infinite capacity to adapt, to overcome, to transform. And here's the magic of it all. When you embrace challenge, it actually becomes your gateway to growth. Instead of avoiding it, instead of fearing ridicule, you welcome it. You don't just stand in the face of challenge. You run toward it. Because each challenge is a lesson. Each experience an opportunity for you to evolve. So though every time you face something that once scared you, you feel a bit stronger, a bit more alive. Doesn't that feel empowering? As you continue on this path, you begin to notice how effortlessly everything shifts. Life becomes easier, more fluid, and everything just seems to get better and better. Imagine, with each passing day, you're growing, changing, becoming more confident, more capable, all without trying. It just happens naturally. What if the best part is still ahead of you? You know, many of the beliefs that once seemed so true, the ones that kept you stuck in old patterns, they're now beginning to feel a little less relevant, aren't they? You used to hold on to those beliefs tightly. Like the idea that you had to suppress your emotions, that you had to always man up and never show weakness. Yet isn't it fascinating? The more you suppress, the more you separate yourself from your true power. What if by simply acknowledging those emotions, by accepting that they're an actual part of you, you could finally release them? It's almost like you've been holding on to a backpack full of rocks for years, thinking it was the only way to survive. But now, as you begin to release those rocks, you feel lighter, freer, and you realize you don't need to carry that weight anymore. The world becomes so much clearer, so much more open, when you let go of those limiting beliefs. You can now see how praise and validation from others, they used to be like a drug for you, something you felt you needed in order to feel good about yourself. But notice this, the more you relied on external validation, the more you felt drained, uncertain, needy. Doesn't it feel better to know that you can choose to validate yourself? What if you didn't need anyone's approval? Imagine how much more fun it would be to just express yourself. To be the humorous, playful and cheeky version of you that's always existed, waiting to be set free. The moment you stop chasing approval, you become unshakable in your confidence. People begin to sense that power, and suddenly your energy becomes infectious. They feel it. They feel good just by being around you. Because it's interesting. The more you let go of seeking praise, the easier it is to become genuinely yourself. When you embrace your authentic self, you start to realize something wonderful. You've always had the ability to be a positive influence on those around you. And when you stop trying so hard, that influence becomes even stronger. You see, people, they don't remember what you say. They remember how you make them feel. And when you show up as your true, confident self, without fear, without hesitation, they feel your energy. And isn't that the most powerful thing you can share? And now think back to the rules you imposed on yourself in the past. What if those rules were just beliefs you outgrew? What if those limits that you thought you needed to survive were simply old patterns that no longer serve you? The moment you realize this, you open yourself up to more options, to more possibilities, and that's where the real growth begins. You once thought to be tough, to be confident, meant shutting down your emotions, keeping them under lock and key. What if the truth was emotions aren't something to suppress, but something to embrace and integrate? When you allow yourself to feel these emotions, they become your strength, not your weakness. Can you feel how freeing that would be? Let's take a moment to look at what happens when you embrace those emotions. Instead of running away, instead of suppressing, you now see it's okay to feel helpless sometimes. In fact, feeling helpless is just a natural part of the human experience. Isn't it interesting how embracing that vulnerability can lead to more personal strength? And here's where it gets even more exciting. The more you allow yourself to be vulnerable, the more you become an unstoppable force. It's in embracing your weakness that you find your true power. Just like a seed that has to break through the soil to grow. Sometimes it's in breaking down the old that we become new, stronger, wiser, more capable. Now notice how this whole journey has shifted your perspective. Instead of focusing on limitations, you're opening yourself up to the unlimited possibilities. You're reframing everything. Each setback becomes a setup for something bigger. Each challenge becomes a stepping stone towards who you're becoming. As you keep embracing this new mindset, you start to see the world differently. No longer are you confined by rules, expectations, or old beliefs. Now you feel free, alive, and limitless. And all it took was realizing the only real limitations were the ones you put on yourself. What if you could release all those limitations right now? Can you feel the power in that? As you take another deep breath, just notice how much more peaceful you feel. Can you feel that sense of calm? How easy it is to shift from the old ways of thinking to new, empowered, expansive beliefs. The more you relax into this freedom, the more you begin to realize you've always had the answers inside you.